Welcome. In this video, we'll be going over the basics of writing a NexScript to automate analysis of data files in NeuroExplorer. In this video, I'm going to be using version 4 because it is the last version of NeuroExplorer in which the NexScript is contained within the NeuroExplorer program itself. Starting in NeuroExplorer version 5, the NexScript retains all the same functionality and formatting we'll be going over in this video, but is on a Python platform, and therefore can run other Python functions within the NexScript graphical user interface. In the NexScript, we're going to start on a single open file and run a peri-event raster using single unit spike data, and then we'll look at some peri-event spectrograms of continuous data. Then I will modify this script to run all the files within a directory through these two analyses. Before we even start, I do want to caution that I'm going to be changing multiple different settings in these analyses that we're going to be running in the NexScript, and these may not be appropriate for your specific data. To start, let's look at NeuroExplorer. In the analysis window, you can see all the different analyses that are available to use with NeuroExplorer. However, to run an analysis in a NexScript, it must be written in a template.ntp file format. To note, the template name will probably not exactly match the analysis name, so be aware of that as you're looking through the available templates. Right now, we only see a limited number of templates, and of the analysis we're going to run today, we only see the peri-event rasters template and not the peri-event spectrograms. However, we're not limited to just these templates. If you look in the Files window, default open to the Next Technologies folder, you can see a folder labeled Templates. If you open this folder, the templates that are already in this folder populate the template window. In the default folder, we'll see a list of more templates that we can run, and of these, here we find the peri-event spectrogram. So we need to get this template up one level from the default folder into the templates folder to make it available to run in a NexScript. To do that, we start at our local C drive disk, and we're looking for the program data folder. Now, this is a hidden folder, so if you don't see it, go to your navigation pane and make sure the Show All Folders is checked. So go Program Data, Next Technologies, NeuroExplorer, Templates. Then we'll go to the default folder and look for that Peri spectrogram template. Here I will right click and copy it. I never cut it or move the file itself, just so that I always have it in this folder in case something happens. So if you go up one level to the templates, right click and then paste the file. When we go back to NeuroExplorer and we refresh our templates folders, we should now see the Peri spectrogram template available. To start, we're going to write a NexScript that works on an opened data file. So I have some test data files that were exported from offline sorter in a .nex file format. And in it, we have data from sorted waveforms. They're named spikes, but under the properties window, you can see they're a variable type neuron. Also in this file, we have events, markers, intervals, and continuous variable types. So let's go ahead and start by opening a new NexScript. When you first open your NexScript, if you don't like the way it looks, you can go to Tools, Options, and set your display. So here we see we have this script window where we will write the code. The output is where it will display any errors if we encounter them, or it'll print any text that we ask it to within the script. We also have the functions window, and under each of these categories, you can see all the functions available. If you click on a function, you can get a little bit more information down in this gray window. And if you need even more information on how to format and how to use each function, you can reference the manual at these pages for the different versions. Now, there are two general rules in NexScript to keep in mind. And the first, that a percent sign will comment out the line. So these are not used in your code, and they're for your reference only so that you remember why you did it 6 months down the line. Additionally, each line is equal to one command. And what does this mean? So, for example, we will need to tell our NexScript which data file we want it to work on. And since we want it to work on an active open file, under File, Read and Write, we can double-click the Get Active Document to use this function. We can also type the function if we want. And since we want to reference the active document later, we will give it a name. So doc will now reference the active document. Now this is our one command. So then we'll skip a couple lines and we will start our Perry event raster analysis. So the function to run the Perry event raster analysis is going to be under the analysis section of functions. And remember, this is a template now. So apply template is the correct function. First, we need to tell it which set of data to run on, and we want it to run the active document, so it'll be on doc, as we defined earlier in line 4. And then we need to tell it which template to run. So we're going to type in Perry event rasters. Now, the template name that you type in has to be exactly the name of the template file itself, and it is capitalization sensitive. So we could go ahead and save the script and run it as is and probably get what we want. However, if we take a couple extra steps right now, we'll save a lot of headaches in the future. So the thing to remember is that the next script will try to apply the templates on the selected data. In NeuroExplorer, the selected data is indicated by these check marks in the boxes. It is the default when opening a file to select the variable type neuron. And in this case, that is what we want to run. However, if you're going to be running multiple files, if you're going to be running them multiple times, if you're going to be running multiple analyses, you'll probably want to tell your NexScript to explicitly select this type of data. So that's what we're going to do here. So first we're going to tell it to deselect everything within the active document. And then we're going to tell it to select specifically the variable type neurons. So we're going to go ahead and run this, and we're going to see what we get out of this analysis. And it's trying to save in the documents, which is sort of weird. So we're going to go into the NeuroExplorer folder and save it under the scripts file, under the scripts folder, because we are writing a script. We're just going to call this test script, version 1. So you must save a script to run it. And so as you see, NeuroExplorer popped up another window with our Perry event raster. And you'll also see over here in the properties window a bunch of different properties. Now we didn't set anything, so this automatically ran with the defaults or with what you ran this analysis with last time. So now what we're going to do is we're going to change a couple of these properties so that it fits our data. So to do this, you want to use the modify template function. And you want to do this before your apply template function because you need to tell NexScript which parameters to use before it can run the function. So here we're going to tell it this is on the active document. This is for the peri-event rasters template analysis. And the setting we want to do is first we're going to start with the xmin. So this again has to be exactly as written in your NexScript. So over here under your properties, xmin, and I added that space and seconds in parentheses. And then I can tell it what I want it to actually be. I want it to be -2 seconds. Okay. So I also want to set the x max. So I'm just going to copy paste this so I don't have to type it out all again. And I want it to be +2 seconds. Okay. I'm going to copy this once again because I don't like repetitive typing. And now I'm going to set the reference. So if you look under properties, the reference is actually referencing the event that's going to be used as my 0 point that the xmin and xmax is then going to measure around. So also, if you'll notice that it references the name and also the number of that event. So if we go back to the data file itself, originally it's referencing this TC event, and you can see there's 30 of those. So unfortunately, we can't just type in, for example, TC, because NexScript won't recognize TC as an appropriate event. So somehow we have to tell NexScript to get the event name from the file itself. And we can do that by using getName, another function. And then we want it to do event TC start. We're actually going to use a marker, but it should work just fine. And since it's in the active document, it's going to be doc.tc start. Now this will not count as two commands because it is a function within a function. Now if we tried to do get name and then something like we do in MATLAB, like a semicolon and then modify template, that would not work. So now that we have our modify template property set, we can rerun our peri-event rasters. So if you look at this, it should change as we run this file. Right? And so here we can see now our new event rasters. And you can see our properties have changed. Our reference is now TC start, and our xmin is -2 with our xmax to 2. So if I'm running this on multiple files, I may want to export this data to Excel for more analysis. So there is a send results to Excel. And what we're going to do is send the data from the current active document. Then you need the actual name, including the entire path of where this is going to be. So we're going to call this file test data. NexScript will create an Excel file for you, but we need the rest of this name for the path telling it where to save it. I'm going to go ahead and save it with the rest of my data under my test data files. So I'm going to copy this path, paste it here, delete that space. All right, so now you can see down here we said the active document, we named the file with the path length. The worksheet name, you can call that whatever you want. That has to be in quotes as well. Then we wanted to start on the first empty row. So that's true, so we put a 1. And we can put in some cell name stuff. It's not actually going to use this parameter because I'm going to say true, I want headers included, and true, I want file names. It'll only use the cell name input if you don't have headers. Okay, it's going to open up our Excel file for us. You can see it's called test data. Now we have each spike name, and then we have the test file name as well. And then if you run this on multiple files, it will just keep adding data down this sheet.